Hey there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Local Influencers Podcast. I'm your host, Abel, and on today's podcast, I am joined by Maddie from Better Together Planning. Maddie, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
For sure, I am excited to have you. I have had event coordinators and I've had different kind of people on the show, but I do not think I've had a just a coordinator like your Instagram bio says. You are also not you're more than a coordinator, you're a planner and specifically like into the weddings and I
Yes.
believe in the state of Texas you're doing this.
Yes. So I'm local to Corpus Christi, but I do travel mostly in South Texas, but that doesn't ever limit me if there's a great opportunity like up north in Texas or West Texas. So,
Awesome. So let's just get our listeners from the very beginning. Let's start back from when you started. How did you get involved in this business and what attracted you to do wedding planning and coordinating? Because that could be a very, very stressful thing. I think on your Instagram story earlier, it was like the wind chill, so cold outside, but you were out there hustling still, girl. Like you were still getting it.
yes. Yeah, so I have always loved weddings, like even growing up, like, you know, movies and just like all of the excitingness around the day. Like it's a very monumental day in your life. And so 4 years ago, I got married and it was stressful. It was crazy. I did not know what I was doing at all. And I wish I'd had some help. And so I was like, man, like, what would it look like to have help here? And I loved the process. I know a lot of people think it's like really stressful and there is a lot to it, but I'm just one of those crazy people who like really enjoy stress and chaos. So sign me up for anything that has to do with logistics and scheduling and coordinating, organizing. I'm your girl. So after my wedding, I enjoyed it so much. My friends were like, hey, I hate this. You should help me. And I'm like, okay, sure. And then after I did a couple, I was like, wow, this is a lot of work. Why am I doing this for free? Like, what is wrong with me? And so
Yes.
I just kind of built my business from that, from just loving it, having a passion for it, seeing a need for it, and just really like having a passion for making couples' dreams come true on their wedding day. To me, it is a very momentous day, which is why I kind of focus on weddings because it's a really once in a lifetime thing, and you have a birthday every year, and that's exciting, and you throw events all the time, but there's something about weddings and bringing two people together that's just like really special. And so yeah, started it then and have been building ever since, and I just love it. So
It's awesome that you kind of segued into my next thing was you mentioned the word together and I was going to say the word your name better together planning is that kind of how you came up with the idea or like how did you come up with the brand name or the
so
business name?
actually, yeah, so I am, pretty religious. I give all credit to my success in my business to the Lord, and it's actually scripture. So if Ecclesiastes 4:9 through 12 says that two cords are better than one and they're not easily broken. And so I just think that we're built for community, like we're built for, uplifting each other, and we're built to be in partnerships, be in friendships, be in relationships in general. And so I just think like bringing in a team that will uplift you and support you, whether it's like me as a wedding planner or a spouse or, your bridal party or your family, like weddings are all about community and relationships. And so that's just kind of where I got my name is like, it's always better when we work together for the common good. And that's like how we should live our lives and live, do things in life, have events, go to the grocery store, like do life. So
I love that, and like I love that you elaborated on like relationships, like in it's we're better together as friendships, we're better together as a community, we're better together as so you although you specialize in weddings and that's what you focus on, you could really branch out. Once you
yeah.
got things, if you really set yourself up for success there because That's a very good marketing plan if you didn't think of that already.
Yes,
So,
no, it's that's the goal, you're always thinking 2 steps ahead, so
yeah.
who knows? Maybe better together all over the town, who knows?
Yeah, and so on, I was just browsing on your website, and I see you offer a few different packages for um people and or people that are interested in your services. And do you want to just give? You don't have to go into detail about the packages because people can obviously go to your website for that. But do you want to give just a brief rundown, maybe if you had to summarize them? That way, our listeners kind of get an idea of what you offer.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So I do offer 3 main packages, and I kind of described my packages how I feel like brides usually fall. So there's usually 3 types of brides that come to me. One of them is totally stressed out, usually is, like, kind of overwhelmed by the planning factor or just doesn't want to stress and knows that they will if they get into it on their own. And so that's like the full planning. So it's from start to finish. I'm with you every step of the way from the day you hire me to the wedding day itself and either even a couple week checkup after marriage. So that's like full planning, everything inclusive. And then the next package down is design planning and event management. So that turns into my bride that can check a couple boxes, can get the big stuff done on her own, but really wants to make sure her vision and like what's in her mind and the aesthetic of the event comes out flawlessly and wants help with those details and just making sure that that's all taken care of and that her Pinterest wedding dream wedding is actually that and not just slapped together. And then the event management part is again like just taking the details of the day and running the event itself. And then my last package is just the event management or coordination style of package. So it's for the bride who's organized, can plan a wedding herself, but knows that when it comes down to the day, she doesn't want to be getting phone calls from all her vendors. She doesn't want to be out there setting it all up. She wants to kind of give it away and be able to enjoy her bridal party and her family and just be present fully and get to enjoy the wedding.
I love that because a lot of the times, they are there's different spectrums. Like you said, there's some women that are just like, or just people in general, just like I cannot deal with. I can't add
Yeah.
any more stress to my life. But then there's people that are like, hey, I got everything, but the day of, like, I just want to live in the moment. And
Yes,
so having
yes.
that different tier services is really awesome. And I love the names of them, like the rose gold package and white gold and the whole package. I love them. I just like, I think they're very classy and very just like very sophisticated and nice. For our listeners, you can get all of the details for those plans on bettertogetherplanning.com. And I'll have the link in the show notes so everyone can kind of just click on that. And if you're interested, definitely check it out. So I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about wedding planning in general. So if someone came to you, do you do like consultations first? What does your process look like? So now we know about your packages that you offer, but do you do like a consultation of like, hey, like what is your vision or what does that consist of?
Yeah, so typically I have like brides fill out the questionnaire on my website first. That kind of goes to my software system and gives me an idea of where your wedding's located, how many guests you're planning to invite, your budget's huge. And then your vision. Yeah, if you have any colors in mind, if you have like a style in mind, and that kind of gets me started. And then I prefer to do a free phone consultation where just free, it's you and me. We just get to chat about the day, chat about your needs. Like what made you reach out to me? Is are you the type of bride that wants it all taken off her plate, or do you just need a little help along the way, or are you just no, I got this. I just don't want to be stressed. So then I can kind of filter through the needs of the bride and then kind of focus them in on which package may best fit their needs. And sometimes it's a combination of both, and we create our own package and we kind of personalize it because I understand that every bride's unique and every situation is different. And so that's typically the first step. And then once we decide that we're a good personality fit, and which is like really big, like you need to get along with each other because I'm gonna spend a lot of time with you ladies. So it's like you got to make sure that we can communicate well and that you actually like me and think I'm funny because it's gonna be awkward if you don't, and we're not gonna have a great time. So, and then once we get to that point, then yeah, we start full planning, and I start really digging into what the most important aspects of the wedding are for you, and that kind of dictates where our money goes. If you are super into photography and you want amazing pictures, you want to put a lot of money there, right? If you could care less and you just want to have a good time and be on the dance floor, we want to put a lot of money in our DJ bar. Like it just kind of depends on each bride's personality and what they want to focus on most. So we start digging into the details, but it's kind of the first couple steps.
Cool. And so do you have like a, let's say, a bride comes to you and obviously they have the package where you take control of everything. Do you by any chance partner, and you don't have to list anyone or anything, do you partner with any kind of local vendors to do you have like a list of vendors that you kind of rely on? Like if a bride's like, oh my God, I need a DJ, but I don't know who to call. Do you have like that list of people you're like, you know what, I know I can count on these people? Or
Yeah, yeah, I definitely create my vendor list basically by good relationships, communication, and showing up, showing out when it's needed. So I do have a list that vendors I prefer. The bride's not limited to my list. I don't have like a, oh, you have to pick off this list type of
Mhm.
thing. I just tell them, hey, this is my list. I know these people are gonna do a great job. If we do go outside of this list and I've not worked with them before, like I can't promise that they're going to deliver. Like, we're just have to trust your judgment on that and we can move forward. Like, I'm totally accepting of that. But yeah, I do have a preferred list that I work with people, and it's usually people that I've definitely done a wedding with before, or have been referred to me by another vendor I trust that, their word, but, my go tos for sure.
Cool. And how long would you suggest a bride start planning the big day? Like
Yes.
because so I watch Real Housewives. Like I'm obsessed with Real Housewives. And so like there was this one, and she's been together with this guy for like 19 years. Anyways, long story short, she like freaked out her wedding planner when she's like, I want to get married in 3 months.
Yeah, yeah. So just for an example, actually, I just got done with a bride. She booked me this year, literally this month, and she's getting married in April. And I was like, oh, she has done nothing. She's got her venue and her fiance. That's about it. So that was very stressful. It's not like impossible, but
Mhm.
it does take a lot more um, planning and very quickly, and you also don't get the best vendor pool. So you're basing your vendor pool off of availability instead of performance and how well they do their job. I typically suggest at least 12 to 18 months, which is prime because vendors book that far out. Like I book a year plus in advance. So a lot of do, photographers do, venues do. So if you want to make decisions based off of how well they do their job and you want to have options, then you want to plan out more. But if based on availability, that's okay. Like, it's not impossible, but you just limit your options.
Yeah, and one of my last questions for you is if someone were interested in kind of entering the event planning space or wedding planning, what are just like a couple of things that you've learned, like, or what would you have told yourself when you first started, um, like tips or a piece of advice, like to kind of enter this space?
Definitely just get experience. Doesn't matter what kind. Like just be at events. Like not as a guest, but like as a vendor, whether it be as a caterer, like that you're just, passing out plates, or you're a flipper where you're literally just moving tables and chairs. Like being at the events, you just learn so much by being a fly on the wall. And so I wish I would have started going to them more because like I was going to weddings as a guest, but as a guest, you don't notice like all the behind the scenes that it takes, like logistics wise. And so, like, if you're interested in the event planning world, you don't have to start out as a planner, but just start out as a vendor at the event, whatever like way you can get your foot in the door there, because you just learned so much by just being there and just paying attention. Like that's where I learned a lot was just being there and paying attention and just watching what goes on that I never noticed before because I was like trying to have a good time and trying to eat my
Yeah.
food and get my margarita. So yeah, you just learn so much by just being present and just paying attention to what's actually going on around you.
Awesome. I love that advice. And so now we've reached the time of the podcast where you can plug anything and everything you'd like. So, where can people find you? Social media. I named your website, but you can go ahead and reiterate that if you'd like. Yeah, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I'm just really on Instagram and Facebook. Everything is just Better Together Planning, really simple. At Better Together Planning on Instagram, Better Together Planning on Facebook. My website, bettertogetherplanning.com. I try to make it simple. I post a lot of things on Instagram for previous weddings and inspiration. I try to do tips and tricks, just some advice every now and then. I do like to be educational. I feel like brides don't have a place where they can go and like just get information. They have to read these really long blog posts, or they see these beautiful things on Pinterest, but they don't know what to do with that. So I've been trying to do a lot more videos and reels just to kind of educate brides on just tips and tricks to save money, tips and tricks on what to do, what not to do. And then my website has all my packages listed, as you said, and there's a contact form if you're interested in getting more information. I do a free consultation call so we can just chat and see what your needs are and see if I can help in any way to make the day perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And for all the listeners, please don't tell Maddie that you want to get married next month and try to book her. Don't stress her out like that, please. But definitely check out her website if you're interested. Again, I will have all of the links for to contact Maddie on the show notes. So all you'll have to do is click on them, and that will take you to directly to her social media or website, whichever you prefer. Maddie, thank you again for your time today. I appreciate you, and thank you just for letting us all know about your business and a little bit about you.
No, appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
For sure. And for my listeners, wherever you are listening, please make sure that you head out into your community, make a positive change, and do some good today. Until next time, have a good one.